Hello and welcome everyone to the week ahead commodity report, where we of course will be reviewing the markets for the week ahead. Another week and another commodity has racked up double-digit gains. That's one of the most exciting and lucrative trends of the current commodity super cycle that we find ourselves in right now. Commodity prices across the board, they have made an explosive start to the month, posting their biggest back-to-back weekly gains on record since 1960. And there's no question that 2022, that will go down in history as one of the most profitable years ever for commodity traders. So far this year, a total of 27 commodities, ranging from the metals to the energies to agriculture, they have tallied up astronomical record-breaking gains, outperforming every other asset class out there. In fact, this quarter, we've already seen a number of commodities notching up impressive double-digit gains in a single day alone, not once, not twice, but on multiple occasions. Take last week, for example, every possible commodity imaginable, from aluminium to copper to palladium to platinum to gold to silver to lumber to zinc to crude oil to natural gas, prices absolutely surged on Thursday, following on from the US consumer price inflation data, with a long list racking up spectacular gains of 10% or higher literally in a single day. The exact same thing happened in the previous week, following on from the US employment report. And yes, you guessed it, the week before that, we had the Bank of Japan's currency intervention. Right now, these markets, they're presenting traders with an endless flow of back-to-back trading opportunities to generate incredible gains, 10% or higher in a single week, sometimes in a single day. In today's inflation-adjusted terms, your money sat in the bank account will not even make that level of return in a single year, let alone in the next 3 or 5 years from now. Whichever way you look at it, there's really nothing historical you can point to for what is going on in the markets today. The current macroeconomic backdrop that is fueling one of the greatest wealth transfers of our lifetime, presenting savvy traders with back-to-back money-making opportunities almost on a daily basis. The great news is this trend is here to stay and set to continue throughout the rest of the year and way into 2023. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citigroup, they've already prepared their clients for what they predict could be one of the most profitable quarters ever seen. In recent weeks, Morgan Stanley, BlackRock, Bank of America, they have joined the long list advising their clients to rotate capital into commodities, ready for a massive Christmas bonus. And now we're starting to see why. In the words of Warren Buffett, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. It's perhaps more relevant today than at any other time in recent history. Right now we have crisis on top of crisis, which, as traders know, translates to opportunity on top of opportunity. We are currently living through one of the greatest eras of wealth creation the world has ever seen, packed with a series of extraordinary money-making opportunities, from the escalating global inflation crisis to monetary policy crisis to currency crisis to energy crisis. As the famous saying goes, do not waste a good crisis. This is the time that traders wait decades for, because it's times like these that make millionaires and billionaires out of regular people. There's a lot of traders out there that completely missed out on two of the previous greatest wealth transfers in history, including the global financial crisis of 2008 and more recently the pandemic in 2020. The ones that saw the opportunity and knew how to capitalize, they accumulated life-changing wealth. According to the World Wealth Report, 6.2 million ordinary people, they became millionaires for the first time during the 2020 pandemic, which is more than any other time in history. But once again, we find ourselves at the forefront of one of the biggest wealth creation opportunities of all time, the explosive cocktail of events that is currently unfolding right now that presents the third greatest wealth transfers of our lifetime. According to Bloomberg, 1 in 2 people have now turned to trading as a way to combat inflation, whilst also capitalizing on one of the greatest wealth creation opportunities of our lifetime. More millionaires and billionaires will be made this time round than ever before. The only question is, will you be one of them? Definitely do not underestimate what you can achieve in the next 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months from now. Right now at the Gold and Silver Club, we're consistently banking over 10,000 points profit, which we are transparently documenting through our weekly videos. If you're trading at 1 lot, that's $100,000, or if you're trading at 10 lots, that's $1 million. The majority of our clients at the Gold and Silver Club are utilizing our proprietary research-driven trading approach. They've already made in excess of 6 and 7 figures so far this year, and we still have just another 2 months left to go. Here are just some of the testimonials which have been flooding in from our clients, sharing their successes and achievements. If you want to make the rest of 2022 and beyond your best and most profitable year ever, then you still have time. Just go to www.jointhegoldensilverclub.com now to learn how our mentorship program can take your trading to the next level. So with that, let's move over to the charts and we'll talk you through exactly what we look at here as we head into a new week. So firstly, starting off with Palladium, as we mentioned to you, on Palladium, ahead of the CPI data, we snipe it in at $1,810 per ounce. That trade into Friday's close is now up 2,270 points profit. An immense move just within 24 hours. One of the fastest profits that we've seen on a commodity over the course of the last week here. So we had an immense move, 10% breakout just within the matter of 24 hours. And these immense moves that we're seeing right now are very much commonplace in commodities at the moment. We talked you through it previously that we had areas of liquidity, certainly on Palladium, all the way back down towards the 1800 level, which happened to also be the swing lows back in June as well. And yet again, that has proven to be a major level where traders have taken the opportunity to snipe it back in, accumulate further exposure. And of course, with that, we've also seen commercial positioning. So the hedgers in the market, they've considerably increased their net longs over the last couple of weeks, and we've seen that absolutely play out with this impulse move higher that we've seen from Thursday through to Friday here, again over a 2,250 point breakout to the upside there on Palladium. Now moving over to the other metals, so silver broke out 5.6% last week. We took the opportunity, in fact, to scale out of more profits on silver last week, just under 300 points from our positions that we've had down towards the $18 per ounce level. Now at the moment, going into next week, we've had a great run here on silver. I can't rule out the potential for profit taking now at these zones. As I mentioned previously, the real trick to it is getting in nice and early so that your main job is now scaling out of profits. So as you continue to get these breakouts to the upside, very simply, then you can scale out of more profits and not to FOMO, not to buy right at the top of the ranges here. We've also seen that on platinum lately as well. And of course, on platinum, we've actually taken the opportunity here to bank a lot of profit over the last month. Again, the previous week, banking yet again over 1,000 points profit from our longs that we executed at the beginning of October here when we saw the intervention, of course, from the Bank of England. Since then, we've seen an immense move to the upside, over 2,000 point breakout. But now our expectation is that we should start to get some degree of a pullback as we go into next week. Commercials have also started to take quite a lot of profit off the table over the last 2 to 3 weeks here with platinum. And you can see where it started to slow down on Friday. We've got a slight dip there, 0.24% to the downside on Friday, but it had an immense move off the back of the CPI data. We broke all the way out to $1,070 per ounce. But that's definitely on the radar here as we go into next week for a potential more profit taking and rotation back to more areas of interest to reload on positions. And again, going back to crude oil here too, crude oil, certainly I am interested if we were to get a break back down towards these key areas of liquidity, back down towards the $80 to $75 per barrel zone. This is definitely on the radar as now we're through the midterm elections from last week. Generally speaking, this time of year can be excellent to look at opportunities to start scaling in and building out that position on oil. You have to remember, going back to the summer here, we've essentially on WTI crude oil broken down from $123 per barrel all the way down to $77 per barrel. Now we're still at the lower end of the range, but essentially if we can get further pullbacks back down towards areas of liquidity of $80, $75 per barrel, these would very much be areas where I'm interested in building out further positions. You have to remember as well, Joe Biden administration have already signaled to the market that they're looking to refill their strategic oil reserves on a move back down towards $70 per barrel, although very likely that level would get front run, so I wouldn't wait for the price to get all the way down towards those levels. But certainly oil is on the radar here as we continue to progress throughout the month of November and into December as well. Now, of course, gold had an immense move last week as well, broke out 5.8% to the upside. Now, not as big as the breakout that we caught on Palladium, but equally gold has also had a very strong move. It's broken out over the last week and a half here from low to high. We've seen a 1,500 point breakout to the upside, and of course the initial breakout that came on non-farm payroll. That was further compounded after the FOMC statement, and yet again further compounded by the CPI data. Now at these levels where we're trading at the moment, obviously we've already had a big pump to the upside. Again, we've continued to take the opportunity over the course of this month to scale out as we've been breaking out to the upside on many of these metals here. So I wouldn't suggest FOMOing in and getting right in at the top of these moves. Again, you want to be nice and early to these trades, so when you are seeing these pumps and breakouts, very simply you can scale out and take more profit off the table rather than caught out and buying right at the top of the range but just before you see profit taking in these markets. Also be mindful that we had a public holiday in the US on Friday. I'm not ruling out the potential for the dollar after it had such a dramatic sell-off to the downside last week. It broke down 4% to see some degree of a retracement to the upside go into next week, which would then cause further profit taking on some commodities and yet yet again massive opportunities to reload at lower prices. But I have to say, it has been an immense move here on some of these commodities in the last few days. Like palladium has absolutely surged in the last week, 10% breakout in just a couple of days. Copper also, as you know, we booked profits on copper too, which has had a massive move in the last week, broke out 9% to the upside. And that's also, of course, been the case for gold miners here as well, which in the last week they're up just under 14%. As we continue to move through this new economic climate, I'm sure you can see the importance of having an essential income generating skill like trading. That has become a must-have necessity if you want to actually reach your long-term financial goals in these rapidly changing markets. You can't just stockpile cash in a savings account, because rapidly surging inflation, that will erode your wealth and purchasing power. And instead, you need to make your money work as hard for you as you've worked hard for it. One of the biggest obstacles that holds back 99% of retail traders from achieving their desired success, it's not having access to the correct professional strategies, institutional level data, and market intelligence to make confident decisions with accuracy in these fast-moving and highly lucrative markets. There is a huge gap between the top 1% of professional traders and the bottom 99% of misguided retail traders who simply rely on outdated technical analysis and gimmicky technical indicators that simply do not work in these markets. If you want to get yourself out of the bottom 99% and into the top 1% who are actually crushing it and making 6, 7, and 8-figure returns in these markets right now, then you need to utilize a professional, research-driven approach, or you'll end up wasting lots of time, money, and effort and have no results to show for all of your hard work. In these fast-moving markets, technical analysis and outdated technical indicators, they will not work. Those days, they're long gone. If that's all you're relying on, the odds are already stacked up against you. If you want to change your results, then there's only one way to do it. You have to change your thinking process and actions. If you want to learn our exclusive, research-driven approach that is never taught to retail traders and only reserved for professional traders in banks, hedge funds with access to powerful, game-changing insights, including where banks and hedge funds are buying and selling in real time, key liquidity zones, so you can enter and exit the markets with pinpoint precision, fundamentals, macroeconomics, capital flows, the daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly real-time data-driven cycles, intermarket correlations and ratios, then you need to join our mentorship program now. As we transition through the final quarter of the year, we are heading into a highly lucrative and event-driven period. If you want to successfully capitalize on these huge opportunities ahead and build significant, life-changing wealth, there's no better time than right now. If you want to upgrade your income, then you have to upgrade your skills. Never underestimate what you can achieve in the next few months from now with the right guidance and mentorship. Time is the most valuable commodity that we have. Make sure that you don't waste it. If you want to join our community of successful traders and take your trading to the next level, there is an opportunity for you to do so. As a member, you get access to our exclusive live trading room webinars. You get access to real-time trade ideas, access to institutional research and market intelligence, access to our private members academy website, and also support and one-to-one mentoring. For more information, just go to www.jointhelivetradingroom.com. The link is also below this report in the description. So just click on the link, make an application, and we will of course get in touch with you ASAP.